At what point does freedom turn into, well, no, you have to do what I say? How are we going to be the change that we want to see? Why do you feel this need to be right? Hello, my name is Lucy Davis and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know some of you are going to be very grateful that you can see a real background going on behind me, and I'm happy to say that this is my little sanctuary at the moment, which is absolutely amazing. So I just wanted to share a little bit of it with you. I'm not going to share it all with you, and I'm certainly not going to tell you where I am, but I have a little bit of my sanctuary around me at the moment. So, ladies and gents, first and foremost, I am so sorry I wasn't able to give you a heads up. I'm actually not able to go live at 5 o'clock on the 4th of September because I have a commitment that's actually come up at very last minute. So here I am filming this, no word of a lie, at 11:11 on Sunday, the 3rd of September. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I have had the most powerful week, probably one of the most powerful weeks of my life. It's almost like God has taken me by the shoulders and he said, Lucy, you've been through so much in the last 8 months that I'm actually going to give you a little bit of a helping hand now. And I'm actually just going to, present things to you that are really, really going to make you smile. And my goodness, have I smiled a lot in the last week. So to everybody who has been involved in the reasons why I am smiling as much as I am, I just want to say thank you to you. It has been absolutely amazing to be able to get aligned with a lot of you and meet so many of you and speak to so many of you and be so vulnerable and open and authentic and feel the love back from everybody. So I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody that has been involved. Now, I'm not going to talk about the opportunities that have presented themselves to me in this last week, ladies and gents, but I hope and pray that you have gone and watched the full moon video that I put out for the end of August, and also the September energy update, which I can't link. Oh yeah, I can link back to it. I was just about to say I can't link back to it, but I can link back to it. So sorry, my nose is getting itchy. We know what that means. It hasn't done that in a very long time, actually. It's quite interesting. So I wonder what's going to come through. But yeah, so I can link back to the September energy, and I can also link back to the full moon update. We are still very much in the energies of both of those things. And if you remember, I mentioned on a number of occasions that opportunities were going to present themselves in a big way, ladies and gents. So please do keep your eyes open. Sometimes opportunities present themselves as endings. Sometimes opportunities present themselves like when you have to sift through all of the shit, when you're looking for the gold, and then you find that little nugget of gold and you're like, don't always expect an opportunity to turn up it with a bow on it and a big neon sign saying opportunity this way. Don't look at it like that. Remember, ladies and gents, the devil often turns up disguised as everything that you believe that you require, you want, your heart desires. So just keep your wits about you and keep your discernment extremely high during these powerful energy moments that we are stepping through. Now, I've seen so many different messages, and people send me a lot of videos on a week-to-week basis across all of my social medias and to my email inbox, sharing about like solar flares and things like that. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not questioning that any of this, I'm going to call it electrical activity, is taking place, because it is electric what's going on in and around us right now. I am very linked to Gaia, the energies of Gaia. So what that basically means is I can really feel where there is this disconnect in energies that take place, which is why I randomly go, never random, go to certain places. I can touch stones and they will literally talk to me. Now, I'm not saying I'm the only one on the planet that can do this, but that's the gift that I've got. Now, as much as I can connect with, the interdimensionals and things like that, it's not what I tend to do. I tend to work with nature. I tend to work with Gaia as best as I possibly can. And that is why I do the things that I do. So when people are talking about solar flares and people messaging me about that, don't think that I'm being disrespectful. I feel as if a lot of this stuff has already happened quite some time ago, and we are having the after effects, if you like. What you've got to remember is, you know, the speed of light, and take all of that into consideration. So I feel as if these energies are bubbling right now. We are stepping into a powerful period, but I also feel that grounding into the energies of this earth is probably quite sensible for us to do right now. That said, I do see very, very clearly that there is a big split that is taking place on the planet. And that's one of the things that I want to talk about today, ladies and gents, but I'm just going to go off on a bit of a tangent if it's okay with you, because I have been reworking a lot of my business behind closed doors. So my Lucy Davis website, you are going to start to see some changes over this month and going forwards. Likewise, you are going to be seeing some changes in my newsletter. For those of you that aren't already on my newsletter, please go to the description field of this video, and in there is a link for the weekly woo. Now, the weekly woo is my weekly newsletter that goes out. Now, on there this week, you have got an opportunity to win a one-to-one with me, and I don't often talk about my one-to-ones publicly because I don't have much time to do them, in all honesty. You know, I've got a waiting list, and I've got, well, actually it's not a waiting list, I've got the next 3-4 months booked up. So when people come to me for one-to-ones and they can't get them instantly, obviously there is a bit of frustration, but I do charge a decent amount for a one-to-one with me, ladies and gents. So my recommendation is get on that newsletter and be in with a chance of winning a one-to-one with me, an hour's one-to-one with me, if it calls to you. You know, if you've got something going on with your health, if you want to get connected to your passions, your purpose, if you know, maybe you've got somebody's recently passed, or maybe you've got something going on in your life and you just can't make sense of it, this is an opportunity to have a one-to-one with me, you know, for an hour at absolutely no cost to yourself. So all I can guarantee from a one-to-one is that you will have massive breakthroughs. You will probably look at life very, very, very differently, because I do hold a very different perspective to most people. I will channel what I need to channel to get you the answers that you need to get. I will, you know, I can't say that your loved ones aren't going to come through. It's happening quite a lot at the moment. You know, I was recording the video with Jamie on Friday evening, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and his sister was actually talking to me. So I think I shared briefly on the video, but I spoke to him after the video about his sister and his nephew, which is a beautiful, beautiful gift for me to be able to give. So to be in with a chance of winning a one-to-one, please go over to the description field, like I say, click on the weekly woo, get yourself signed up. And like I say, my website is going to be changing over the coming weeks. So don't be surprised if you're like, oh, I don't know where it is anymore. We're going to try and keep it as basic as we possibly can. But there's going to be a lot more vibrancy coming through. There might be a tiny little color change taking place and things like that. So just stay open. It's all me. It's staying with me. It's just, I'm giving myself an overhaul, ladies and gents. Like, I've had a bit of my hair cut off. I am, you know, making huge changes. 2023 has been all about huge changes for myself personally. So why not update my business as well? Why not take my business to another level? And like I say, the opportunities that are presenting themselves from a public speaking perspective, you know, I've had an amazing opportunity present itself, and I'm not going to say it yet, but to really, really get my name out there, in a much bigger field, and a field that you guys will probably think is actually quite aligned to me. So I'm super pumped to be able to share it all with you as and when I can. But make sure you keep an eye on the newsletter, because that is where all of this information is going to get shared, ladies and gents. The best is yet to come. That's all I'm going to say to you right now. Ladies and gents, the other thing that I just wanted to talk to you about is conscious conversations. People always say to me, Lucy, how's the best way? Like, what's the best way for me to work with you? Now, as you guys know, my Self-Love Club membership program is my baby. It's what I'm very, very proud of, but we only do an intake once a year. So, and that is in June. So you've missed the boat for this year. And yes, you can go on the waiting list for next year. I'm going to be getting that out to you guys imminently. However, like probably in the next month. However, what you can do is you can come along to Conscious Conversations on a week-to-week basis. It's £11.11 per month, because we love the angel numbers. And basically what it is it's a group Zoom whereby you can ask me questions, and I will share all of the ins and outs of all the wandering that I do, and these beautiful travel expeditions that I'm on, and a lot about the energies. Now, whether you've noticed it or not, whether you are willing to see it or not, there is a lot of noise that is taking place about future lockdowns and that nonsense coming back up into the consciousness. So with that in mind, the best thing that we can do is come together as a community and really, really start to work together. This is the best forum to do that, ladies and gents. As you guys know, I am censored all over the place. The only place they cannot censor me is my website. So if this speaks to your soul, and I've kept it as cheap as possible, ladies and gents, I might speak to my team about doing a referral program, actually, so that you might even be able to get it cheaper if you refer some friends. So let me take that one away. I love the fact that this is coming out whilst I'm, whilst I'm live. But basically, this is a week-to-week discussion that we get together, and you guys can, like I say, you can ask me opinions. Sometimes we talk about certain things. We can talk about different topics. But basically, the thing that I love the most about it is that I've connected all these different people in their little pockets of the world, and now they meet up for coffees. There's a gorgeous group I know about in Australia that meet up. It's just amazing. And they're like, they often send me pictures of them meeting up over brunch or tea or whatever. And that's just amazing. Like, that is what we need to be doing here, ladies and gents. So if you don't have to be spiritual, by the way, ladies and gents, to join it. But if you are, then great. Whatever your belief system is, it's absolutely fine. Now, this leads me really, really nicely into the topic of conversation that I wanted to share with you today. Have you noticed the division that is taking place? Have you noticed, and comment in the comments field below, although I'm not going to be live at this time, fingers crossed, I might be able to respond to some comments as I'm live, as this goes out live. Or if not, I'll be able to do it later on. I'm actually helping a family member, so that's why I'm not able to actually be on live, guys, but I may well be able to be on my phone a little bit. So have you noticed the divide? Have you noticed that everybody's becoming very, very territorial over their beliefs? Have you noticed how people are almost shaming you for having a different opinion to them? This, ladies and gents, is a very important time that we are living in right now. We are literally the judge, the jury, and the executioner, right, of everybody. It's the most bizarre setting. I'm witnessing so many people out there that are like naming and shaming other people, and that might be in the truth movement, it might be in the spiritual movement, it might be in the Me Too movement, it might be in Black Lives Matter. It doesn't matter about where it's coming from, but it's coming from every area of life right now. Now, I'll look at something and I'll be like, wow, that's interesting, and I'll scroll past it. Many people can't do that. Many people see this as a battleground to just go and fight with each other, to go and, really get angry with each other, to test that I'm stronger than you, I can stand my ground longer than you. And it seems to be the worst culprits are the ones who have been saying all the way along, well, that wasn't the right decision to make. You should have made this decision. And it's almost like that behavior has been perpetuated. And ladies and gents, whether you like it or not, it's actually a very, very controlling behavior to say, I'm right and you're wrong. How do you know you're right and wrong? It's your perspective that makes you right. Who says that, whether we should be right or left-wing politicians? Not the word politicians, but you know what I mean. We should support one side or the other. What does it matter if you're Christian or Buddhism? Little fly. What does it matter? Do you really need to fall out with people? Do you really need to name and shame people? What happened to us wanting a free land? where people can do what they want to do and have what they want to have and believe what they want to believe. The whole purpose of the truth movement, or at least what I saw it as, was freedom. Freedom to choose what you wanted to do. Freedom to choose how you wanted to be. And if you look at all of the movements, isn't that what it's about? The Me Too movement. Okay, we want to be free from people sexually abusing. The Black Lives Matter. We want to be free from the racism and things like that. The protests that took place, you know, in London. We want to be free to make our own medical choices. We want to be free to decide who we want to lead us, even though, in my opinion, they're separate wings of the same bird. Personally, it's just my opinion. And I think that that's actually going to be quite prevalent over the coming 12 months. So at what point does freedom turn into, well, no, you have to do what I say? Is that not exactly the same tyrannical situation that we're currently in, of you aren't going to get this unless you do this? Is it not exactly the same? Is it not exactly the same? People saying to you, you've got to pay me for me to be able to do this for you. Like, how many of you out there do not agree with paying things like council tax and stuff like that here in the UK? I don't know what the US or the Australian equivalent is, but basically council tax here in the UK is so that we get our bins emptied, so that police forces are paid for, the fire brigade and the ambulance, you know, the ambulance crew, so the emergency services, so that our roads are okay, so that the lights on the streets are lit up. You know, that's the kind of thing. It's like the basic stuff that people need to be able to live a comfortable life. Now, I truly perceive and I truly believe that the pot is empty for that in the UK. I believe that the pot is like literally empty in so many different areas, and that's with the medical, that's with the schools, that's with the you know, the places where we live, our councils, things like that. I believe that the pot is empty, and that's why they're taking certain moves in certain directions. Here in the UK, schools are closing down. Doctors very rarely have any appointments. All the dentists have gone private. You know, you cannot join an NHS dentist anymore. So look at it in your own country and just look to see what's going on there. Now, how have we got in this perceived mess that we're living in? I see this as a really important step through consciousness. This is a really important journey that we need to go on. Challenging for those people that get it, or we perceive ourselves to get it, that we're like, oh God, how can people not see this? Like, let's just hurry it along. But not everybody has got it. We need the people who are slightly perceived to be a lower level of consciousness, because if everybody was high vibrating, then obviously it means that we would have stepped through all the lessons and we would have done all the karma, we would have done all of the clearing, and we're just not there yet. So we need to be grateful for these people that are bringing in like I say, the perceived lower vibration, or some people call them 3D, or some people call them, you know, different names, whatever it is. The only thing from my perspective that we need to get our head around and that we need to actually respect is that every single one of us is different. Every single one of us is different. And we are allowed to have different beliefs. So if there is somebody out there telling you that you need to be this way, or you need to behave in a certain way, or you have to give a certain amount of money or whatever, like, I'm asking you to challenge yourself and just say, just because I don't agree with this, does it mean that they are wrong? Can I not just say I disagree with you and move on with my life? And that is the crux of what is going on at the moment. We've all started to battle with each other. We've all started to belittle and put each other down. And when I say we all, I'm making very sweeping statements here, ladies and gents. I don't literally mean you guys watching this video. I just mean, look from a bigger picture. The division was so prevalent a few years ago about our medical choices. Okay, it was so prevalent. People were named, people were shamed. And I hate to say it, but I have looked at the numbers recently and the statistics of certain things. And was it justified to name and shame and cause chaos with these people? I don't believe so. So why now are we saying, well, I believe in Jesus and you believe in something else, so of course I'm better than you? Like, at what point have we got so lost and so caught up in the need to be right that we can't actually allow ourselves to live in a space of just honoring where each other is at? We've got to let go of this desire, this need, this commitment to being right. They always said at the end times, there would be somebody who shows up as a savior, and it will be a wolf in sheep's clothing. I see it. I'm not going to say who I believe it's going to end up being on here, but I've told 2 people who I believe it's going to be, so that if and when that happens next year or the year after, because I think it's that quick, they can validate the fact that that is what I predicted. There is so much aggression and division being ruffled up at the moment. It's like the red and black ants have been put in a jar and shaken up. You know, that's what's happening at the moment. Do we really need to live like that? Can we not just love our neighbor for whatever it is that they're doing? I'm not saying love them if they're, you know, causing harm to other people or causing harm to animals. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, what does it really matter? If I believe in one thing, you believe in something different, does that mean we have to end our friendship? Now, obviously, at the moment, the way that things are working is that naturally our friendships are gravitating apart. Naturally, we're being put in situations whereby we're like, well, actually, I'm the rescuer in this relationship, so I need to step back from here, you know. And that could be with family members, it could be with friendships. I've got a number of girlfriends, and one of my really, really, really close friends, she said to me, I don't know why, Lucy, I feel like, you know, everyone's avoiding me at the moment. And that's not because she's paranoid. It's because God is allowing her to go on her journey. And from my perspective, when we isolate or when we get isolated, that's when the big growth spurts take place. And actually, that's what happens when we start to kind of take a bit of a backward step from people. I've had that situation happen this year myself. You know, I had to isolate myself for about 5 weeks. I just, there was one person that I saw in that time. I'd speak to a couple of other people, but I literally just went, shut it all down completely. Wouldn't see anyone, wouldn't speak to anyone, because I had to figure out what was going on. And the growth that has taken place since then, poof, I don't even recognize myself, ladies and gents. You know, my skin has got younger. I mean, look at my skin. It's absolutely unbelievable. It's plumped up, so I'm getting, it's almost like I've got my youthfulness back, I'm getting my collagen back, I'm getting everything back, and like even to physically look at. But even if I shut my eyes, I don't recognize the woman that is the person that I look at in the mirror. I don't recognize her. Why? Because I isolated her and I had to strip everything down, and people's perceptions, you know, where they had certain perceptions of me, I literally had to break all of that down. And it was like, you have to care about you more than what the outside world thinks or what the outside world perceives or the judgments or what's being spoken about. Like, you have to go there, Lucy Davis, and you really have to tap into your heart. And this is why now I have to say, it doesn't matter what belief you've got. If you are a good person, and I mean a good person, I don't mean a good person on a video or a good person to one person. I mean, you are a good person day in, day out. You treat everybody with the same level of respect. You don't like be beautiful to people that are bringing you your food or whatever, and then behind closed doors, you're horrible to people who are homeless. You know, I'm not talking about you've got this beautiful persona online, but behind closed doors, you're nasty to your partner. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you are a good person always. And I don't mean with money. being generous normally justifies some shitty behavior that's going on behind closed doors. I say normally, I don't mean that with everybody. Like, I'm really generous and a number of my friends are really generous, and it doesn't mean that they're being arses behind closed doors. But there are a lot of people that justify their ill behavior by, oh, look here, have a car, or, oh, here, have this money, or, oh, I'm going to buy you this. Remember that, ladies and gents. Remember that. So as much as I'm making quite sweeping statements today, just hear what I'm saying in your heart, rather than getting on the defensive about these areas. So isolation is how we really get the growth. And in isolation, I'll go back to my journey. So back in 2014, when I physically burnt out working on the trading floor, I knew that I had to leave. Now, they were cruel. They made me work 3 months notice, ladies and gents. They were cruel. So I had to give 3 months notice rather than them putting me on gardening leave, which is what I would have done. If somebody had burnt out in my organization, I would put them on gardening leave and said, go sort yourself out. But no, these people wanted me to work. So, during that 3-month period, it was very, very challenging. But then I had to take myself away. Now, what was interesting and something that I didn't recognize at the time was I ran to where my soul knew to be a sanctuary. And in that sanctuary, or in that country that I found a sanctuary, I really got connected to the principles of Buddhism. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm a practicing Buddhist, because I'm not. I'd be a liar if I told you that. But I became accustomed, because I was living in a Buddhist country, to the principles of what that meant and what that looked and what that felt like. And then over a number of years, I would find myself in monasteries. Oh, some wild stories. If you haven't read my book From Head to Heart, there's some wild stories in there about how I end up in monasteries. And the second book has even more wild stories about monasteries. It's very interesting. So my soul took me to a beautiful space whereby I felt safe. I was able to practice the principles of something. Now, since then, I've got very connected to God. So, but that doesn't mean I don't align to Buddhism, or I don't align to Muslim or anything else. It's just an evolution of my journey. So I'm not going to sit there and go, oh, Buddhism is so last season. Not at all. I'm not going to say, Christianity, oh my gosh. It's just a journey, ladies and gents. Now, I've always said for many, many years that I believe that there are incredible pieces of every single religion out there. And we could do ourselves a massive favor by taking the best bits of all of those, putting it together, and just having one unified front. But no, that wouldn't work, would it? Because what would we fight over? How would we justify wars? How would we justify taking more money off the people? And this is what's really important, ladies and gents. Do we really need this level of division as to whether you think Biden or Trump, as to whether you think, Conservative or Labour here in the UK? I know there's a few other parties on both sides, by the way, but just being quite literal with my words here. So how about we just take a backward step from that highly charged desire to be right no matter what? Now, as I was saying, I feel in the next 12 to 18 months, because the world is going to be in such a shit state over the course of the next 12 to 18 months, somebody is going to present themselves as the savior. And actually, this is going to be what they call end times. This is going to be a serious moment whereby we either buy into this or we don't buy into this. And this is basically what's going to, lead us down the next part of our journey. I want you to keep your wits about you, ladies and gents. I've been talking about discernment, and I've been talking about truth and all sorts of bits and pieces like that for a long time. And there are a lot of people that are still being misled in a big way. I've realized that, you know, even down to the way that people are about diet, you know, like the way that people speak about food. Oh, vegans, vegetarians, God, they're so manipulated. Oh my God, how can they not see this agenda? Oh my God, the carnivores, have you seen the state of them? Yada, yada, yada. Like, ladies and gents, it's in every area of our lives. And I just don't believe that God would want us to be limiting or judgmental in any way, shape, or form. Have boundaries, yes. So for me personally, I cannot eat meat. I just can't eat it. I can't process it. It makes me feel very, very tired. It makes me feel very sick. So I cannot do that. However, if I did fancy some meat, I would go and eat it. I just don't. Now, if my body, I'm very intuitive with the way that I eat. So if my body was craving it so desperately, I would know that, because I would be like, oh yeah, this is what I'm craving. Right. I know I need to go and get that. Now imagine a world where everybody could just be at ease with each other. For me, it's my dream. It's my dream to be in a space whereby I love people no matter what they do. Now, in my family unit, I've got people that are vaccinated, unvaccinated, believe in the story, not don't believe in the story. Like literally, I have it all going on, and I'm sure you do as well. I have vegetarians, I have vegans, I have meat eaters, you name it, I have it all going on. I have people that believe, people that don't believe. I have people that think it's nonsense. I have people that think I'm batshit crazy because I can channel spirit. And when I walk in houses, electrics go off and lights go and all the rest of it. Like, you know, I have people that believe it and they're like, wow, she's here. And then I have people that go, oh my God, here it goes again. You know, this is crazy. I can't believe this. So I have it all. I also have it in my friendship circle. Does that mean that I don't love them? No. Does it mean that I have to judge them because they're different to me? No. But likewise, I don't expect judgment back. Now, here in the UK, because I'm in the UK at the moment, I know and I'm very aware that things are bubbling under the surface. Okay, things are being perpetuated to start to create the way that things are going to work going forwards in the next couple of months. So it is now not a time to get on your high horse. It's just a time to say to your family, look, whatever happens over the coming months, I'm going to love you the same anyway. Just look after yourself and make sure that you consider every option. Like really do your research. And then leave it at that. I get it feels like you don't care if you don't tell them the ins and outs, the ingredients and all the rest of it. But ladies and gents, we've been here before. So we need to honor each other's journey. And with all due respect, the fact that it's going to come back again, you know, like we obviously didn't do a very good job of unifying last time round is my recommendation. So how can we create unification? How can we love each other no matter what their, excuse me, what their belief system is? Excuse me. That's my watermelon before. How are we going to make this different? How are we going to be the change that we want to see? The way that I have managed to change my family and get them to see different perspectives, it didn't work when I was verbal diarrheaing over them. It didn't work when I sent them videos and told them to watch certain things. And oh my God, it doesn't work like that. They have witnessed boundaries. They have witnessed me standing in my truth. They have witnessed the fact that I was able to travel when nobody else was traveling. And I wasn't even wearing that. Like all of it, they've witnessed it. And over the months, over the years, they've gained confidence in it. It's not quite the quick fix that we want, though, ladies and gents, is it? So my recommendation to you, I'm not saying you have to do this, but my recommendation is don't get on your high horse when somebody disagrees with you. Don't get on your high horse when you perceive somebody to be judging you. Look at where you're judging other people. I saw a really interesting thread recently whereby somebody actually shared that they didn't align to discussion that was taking place. And what was fascinating is I've previously seen one of the parties involved talking about diet specifically and about, very judgmental. Yet when this person just kind of challenged, I actually don't feel that. It wasn't even a nasty challenge. It was just kind of like, oh, yeah, okay, I see your point, but I don't feel that. Oh my gosh, it was like World War III had kicked off. Ladies and gents, we are in spiritual warfare right this second. Your responsibility is to love, is to gain strength from love, not tearing each other down. That feeds the narrative. That feeds the lower vibration. Yes, don't get me wrong. All of these people that are playing their roles around the world, they're very important for your divine plan, for the divine plan. For you to learn your lessons, for you to stand in your truth, for you to be able to say, no, this is not the way it's going to work for me going forward. Like, honestly, you have so many opportunities, but it doesn't mean that you need to get to a point whereby you have to win that argument. Surrender your control. Surrender this need, this intricate need that you have to be right. Believe it or not, ladies and gents, we're all right. We're all right from our own perspective. Just because I have certain standards and I live to those standards, it's unfair for me to expect you to live to those standards because you haven't had my upbringing. You haven't had the situations take place in life that has taken place with me. You haven't had recent heartbreak or a recent illness or something like that, whatever is aligned to you, just put your own terminology in there, ladies and gents. Nobody can understand you. Nobody can get where you are at. So why do you want to have a bunch of cardboard cutouts? Why are we allowing this divide that has created a number of people a lot of money? And this is, I say this privately all the time. What we've basically done is we've looked at the structure of the world and we've gone, we don't like this. This doesn't work for us. This isn't serving people. We're power for the people. We want to help people get in alignment, yada, yada, yada. But then what we're going to do is we're actually going to sabotage the people within that to start fighting again. So not only is it this upper layer now it's in our layer. And now we're fighting. And now there's a certain number of people in this layer that want to be the chiefs. A bit like the people that they used to slate and they used to slag off, and they want to be in control. They want to be on the pedestal. Now, is that not creating another world exactly in the world that we've just lived in? You have to listen to what I say. You have to believe what I want to believe. That's not freedom. Just because your perception of it is that it will be a better world, it's not the truth. The most incredible thing that all of us can do is to unify by hearts and by authenticity. People get really angry with me because I'm authentic. I call a spade a spade. I drop the F-bomb sometimes a bit too much. I drop it like it's hot from time, ladies and gents. Not very much recently because I'm in a really beautiful space. However, some people don't like that. Oh, Lucy, I wish you'd speak more like a lady. Oh, Lucy, do you have to be so brutal? Like I've said this many times, no doubt, but, I'll never forget when somebody said to me, can you not just fluff it up for me a little bit? And I was like, no, that's not me. If you want somebody who's going to pat you on the head, stroke your hair, and they're there, that's not me. There's plenty of those people out there, but it's not me. I'm here to get results. I'm not here because I want repetitive business. I'm here to help you guys shift if you want to shift. I'm not saying you have to shift. Like, you're okay where you are. But there are so many of you out there that want to make a shift. You're like, you know what? This baggage that I've been carrying since I was 3 years of age, I'm tired of it. And that's how I help you heal, because we look at your traumas, we look at the things that you've gone through, we identify where you are still carrying something where you've told yourself you're not. Because let's be honest, ladies and gents, how many of us have baggage And, you know, we've been in situations, oh yeah, but my divorce happened 20 years ago. Oh, I'm so over that. How's it playing out in your life? Why do you feel this need to be right? And I've had to ask myself this. You guys remember, I was leading the protests in London. You know, I was at the forefront of it all. I was like, come on, I always had a massive group with me. We were causing absolute, you know, we were creating absolute ripples around the world. It was an amazing period of time. But then I had to ask myself, Lucy, why are you really wanting to be right? Raise awareness, I get, but why do you need to be right? And then I realized that for many, 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 many years, I was kind of in the background. I was in the background because everything was revolving around dis-ease within my family unit for one reason and another. So for me to be seen and me to be heard, I had to be right. Now, some of you will be listening to this and be like, wow, isn't that really interesting? Listen to it from where you are. That finger of blame, always looking at, oh yeah, well, see, she didn't have her shit together. No, look at yourself. I purely share this with you guys so that you get the memo on yourself. I had no idea. I always thought that I got, you know, the attention that I needed to get. I always thought that I got the love that I needed to get. But clearly there was something inside of me that didn't feel that. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had this need to be right. Now, when I know if I'm wrong or if I say something and then I'm like, actually, I listen to another perspective and then I'm like, actually, yeah, you know what? That's a really reasonable perspective. I will sit there and be like, you know what? Yeah, I'm open to hearing that other perspective, or I'm sorry, I was wrong. What do I need to put this situation right? But there is a lot of energy still on the planet that has to be right, and they won't let go of that. And this is where the issues start to occur, because right now we're in a period of time where people are starting to see that actually you're just a wounded person and you're projecting your belief system on other people. I'm never going to keep my voice quiet, ladies and gents. I'm always going to be doing video content. I'm always going to be doing lives and share it, like always. You know, I'm always going to be doing audio stuff, like you name it. I'm going to be writing my books. I promise you that, because I know I'm a communicator this lifetime. I know that that's the role I got sent down here to do. But that might evolve. I used to talk about health and nutrition constantly, and I am going to do something on health and nutrition again soon, because, you know, it's very important to me. But now I talk much more about higher consciousness. I talk much more about, you know, my belief systems, or, you know, I watch, you know, if anything gets sent to me or if I get a number of questions, I'll do a live on it, because I'm like, right, okay, let's get this subject boxed off. People obviously need to know this. I trust that if I get 5 to 10 messages on the same subject, I've got to talk about it. You know, like I'm not sitting there. I've actually got a big long list of topics to talk about, believe it or not, ladies and gents, because, you know, these things come up constantly. And this is a really important topic right now. Why do you believe that you are right? What is the trauma response? What is the trauma that occurred with you, which is creating this emotional trauma response within you? I have to be right. I can't apologize when I'm wrong. You know, and this is a part of narcissism, ladies and gents. I know narcissism is bounded around all the time at the moment, and I'm actually looking to a couple of people to come on and actually do a session on narcissism as part of my wellness stuff, because narcissism is gaining so much speed and it's got so much airtime right now. I actually feel that it would be a really, really good discussion to have, because a lot of people don't even realize that they have narcissistic characteristics or traits. A lot of people don't realize they're in a narcissistic relationship, you know, and this desire to always have to be right and always blame other people and shame them into basically backing down. Like, that's a very narcissistic trait. Some people do it via banter to cover it up, but it's the truth. So I would like to challenge you to go off and take a look at yourself and just ask, okay, what is it that I'm hoping to achieve by leading the protests? constantly talking about this subject, like not apologizing for actually maybe something has changed. You know, I actually feel there's a lot of people out there on the planet right now that could do with going online and just saying, you know what, I really believed in this and I was wrong. Nothing wrong with that. You've evolved. You know, there are things that I used to believe in a few years ago that I just don't now. We evolve, we learn, we get more information. It doesn't mean we have to continue to regurgitate the old crap in the background. We don't need to. It's about saying, I got it wrong. Or, you know what? Things have shifted. Now, I know 1,000,000% that there was a massive, massive, massive timeline shift on the 23rd of July. So 23rd of last month. I was doing some massive work in Portugal at the time. And I know that there was a massive time, like me personally, and a number of people I know, it was like it was almost like doing a 90-degree turn. And that's how much of a timeline shift it was. Things have changed massively since that date. Massively. Maybe they have for you, maybe they've got worse, maybe they've got better, but remember, everything is happening for us. It's not to punish us, it's not to say that we're not good enough or that we can't do certain things. It's literally just we're being shown everything that we need so that we can make the decisions, because it's free will at the end of the day. Like, you could be in a relationship with somebody and you know it's abusive, whether that's physical or mentally, right, or emotionally. You know it's abusive, but you can't leave. Again, I'm not going to judge you for that. I'm not going to think you're weak. There will come a point where you have to make that decision. There will come a point or a situation that takes place, because normally this is God showing you that there's a different opportunity. But again, it's free will. Is it my place to judge? No, it's my place whether I join the circus or not. It's my place how I react to it, ladies and gents. I hope this is making sense, because it's pre-recorded. I can't ask you guys, did this make sense? Let me know if this is like speaking to your soul. I mean, pop it in the comments and I will come back anyway. But, you know, at some point you've got to say, right, I accept that this is the situation over here. Now I have to figure out my role. You know what? I'm not gonna get involved in that party anymore. I'm just going to be back here minding my own business, and I'm just going to send love. I'm not going to get in the nitty gritty. I'm not going to offer advice anymore. I'm not going to offer support, because you know what? Every time it pisses me off that they don't do what I want them to do. So who's that on? That's on me. It's not on them. Ask people the question, listen, do you just want me to listen, or do you want me to give you advice? You know, and then again, it's up to you. If they always say, oh, just listen, it's up to you. Do you really want to see that person? Do you want to continue to listen to their nonsense? These are the decisions that we're faced with, ladies and gents. Are you going to get involved in the party, or are you just going to stand back and allow everybody to be what they need to be and be the observer? Witness it all. Love yourself for being able to witness it all and not get involved. Inner peace is exactly what we need right now, ladies and gents. Living in a space of peace and harmony is the only answer that we've got. Love, authenticity. That's how we are going to change this world, ladies and gents. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I don't even know how long I've been speaking for. I think probably about 50 minutes. So hopefully it's a decent enough video for you guys. Do need to hit the microphone. I apologize, that's probably quite loud. Do let me know in the comments how this video landed with you. Let me know if you've got any questions. Let me know if there's any topics that you would like me to speak about. And ladies and gents, do remember that in October I am going to be starting a book club, a once-a-month book club for people that have ordered my book. And they're going to come along to one session a month, whereby we're going to review 10 chapters at a time. So if you want to be in with that, make sure that you do go over to the website. Again, the link's in the description field, and you can buy a copy of my book there, and I will be seeing you guys in the videos that we do on that super soon. I love you guys to the moon and stars, and I will be back next week absolutely live. All right, ladies, see you later. Have a good day, ladies and gents. You take care. Lots of love.